lot of good things, a lot of guys learning, a lot of situational football, a lot of veterans that are teaching the young guys. Been very pleased. Work ethic's been good. Practice has been pretty physical. Learning, like I say, we're in that 12, 13, before you get into that part of it and you find out game's a little bit farther away. Beginning of camp's a little bit farther away. Now you start looking at, how much do I love this thing? And typical camp stuff, but they're banged, bruised bodies, and they're tired. Their legs have been meetings, been grinded, and like I say, now you start to find out who likes football and who can, play and push through those things. That's what camp is about, and getting to that part. But been very excited about our guys. We're making some good progress, some things that we got to get better on, which is everything. Nothing I'm not poking in particular, but a lot of young guys will be counted upon in a lot of key positions, and you're only one ankle turn, one knee twist, one shoulder bang from a lot of guys playing, and I think that's the key to our time today in sports is, your young guys have to be a big contributor in your teams. They have to be counted upon, whether they're starters or not, but to give valuable reps, special teams reps, and if, some guy gets nicked or banged up, that they can go in a game and play, and, you got to count on those youngsters, and that's the challenge. And right now like I say, it's a little bit different. This practice is a little bit different than they had in high school, and guys was good, not only as good as them, but the grind of it and the mental grind of it, and the large volume of capacity, whether it's offense, defense, you have to learn, and then how much situational, we pound into situational football, and how you capitalize on those things, and how you got to think, and on that call, on that down and distance, it's one thing. On that call, it's down and distance. And then reminding themselves daily of that. It's been fun. I still love it. Like I say, young guys, you push them and challenge them, but it's fun to watch them learn, watch them grow, and we're getting to there. Our young guys are doing a really good job. Like I say, I'm very proud of offensive, defensive guys we recruited and how they're playing. I think the older guys are doing a good job of keeping them under their wing and coaching them and doing it. And practices have gotten good and heated and intense, and like they should be. So we just got to keep pushing through to our last scrimmage on Sunday, and then start getting ready and what we're trying to do. But we got a lot of young guys, and I'm proud of, and older guys. So team progressing nicely.
Left David, and then to the right Brent.
Jimbo, you mentioned the young guys. Look like a guy like Bryce Foster. How's he looking out there?
Great.
On the line?
They're playing well. Those young linemen, man, we didn't miss on any of those guys. I like that group. I really do. I think they all have potential. And I think Bryce is one of the guys I think has a great chance to contribute very early because of his physicality. How his physical nature and how well most guys that are freshmen aren't built like that, and aren't that strong coming in. I've been around quite a few of them, and those guys all turn out to be great players. And but he's doing a good job, and he's very intelligent. And the other thing, he's very intelligent. Picks things up very well.
To the right Brent, and then to the left Travis.
A-Chain told us when he's in foot races, he sees to his left or right and a guy in a green jersey. In other words, Haynes King.
So he's losing. If he can see guys around him, that means they're ahead of him. That means he's low. You mean the chain is loafing because somebody's outrunning him? Huh?
He said
See, short people like that, real short people like that, they have that problem. They loaf like that sometimes.
So who is the fastest? A-Chain says he's still the fastest, but I want a really long way of asking you about Haynes King's speed as well.
That's way. Yeah, he run. Now, Haynes can run. If Chain wants to run, he can run. You can get into that all you want. The chain can fly, but and here's the thing you gotta realize, football's not a 100-meter dash. Football's a 15, 20, 25, 40. Those acceleration things, it's hard to get separated. Some of those guys got burst. We got some guys that got great accelerations and things like that. But yeah, he can run. Haynes can run.
And what caught your eye about A-Chain, outside of the obvious, outside of the blinding speed, when you were recruiting him out of Marshall High School?
The unbelievable productivity. The long runs, but he did things. I'm gonna tell you what. When you watch film on him, you go, okay, that's good. That's good. He looks so smooth. I didn't realize how. I watched the film. I said, this guy can run. Then I saw his track times. I said, wait a minute now. Those track times are world class. Sometimes, and I've coached some guys that were, world class guys. Quite a few. Matter of fact, been fortunate in my career. Some of the top sprinters in the world today and in the past, and he was so smooth doing it, you didn't realize. And of course, he would in football, if he got ahead, he didn't have to go run, 10 flat. Because he was still going to score. But the thing about him that amazed me is usually guys like that, sometimes with track guys, that's not always true, and I say track guys, but they're a little bit out of control or there's some unnaturalness to him. He was so natural and smooth that he made it look easy. You didn't realize how fast he was. And the other thing was the toughness part. I mean, he would block you, he would hit you, he would break tackles. He made you miss so easily, you know what I'm saying? There was a smoothness to him, and then he had great ball skills. I mean, it really was. And then, and to be honest, as good as I thought he was better in person. He really was when he got here. And I'm not, but he's got a chance to be a really good football player. I mean, he really does.
Down front left, Travis, and then to the back, Justin.
All the short analysis, I'm having to reassess my life.
I know.
So, what's between the two guys? I know we ask a lot, but where are we kind of right now in the quarterback battle? What have you seen? Is there anybody who's kind of
we're going back and forth? The A's get your shot with the ones, and then in practices and scrimmages and things we go. And I've been pleased with both guys. Both guys have made a lot of progress, taking care of the ball for the most part pretty well. Occasionally, you know, they'll throw a pick every now and then, but I want them to. You can sit there and say don't throw picks, and then you don't make any plays. You got to take chances. You got to throw balls. And you got to find out what you can and cannot do. And I've been very pleased with that. There's been a lot more big plays than there has been in those situations. So decision making is getting better, controlling the game, understanding how to communicate on the field with the players and the demeanor and the body language and all that stuff. That's just as important to me as the other parts of it. And you start getting those things when you start getting comfortable in what you're doing. So that means in knowledge of what's happening. So they feel very comfortable out there. But I think both guys are making progress. We'll make a decision, you know, here. We'll have to make one here relatively soon. But I've been very pleased with both guys. And I think both guys have had a good camp.
And then with Hez Jones a little bit banged up?
Yeah, Hez did. He banged his shoulder. He banged his shoulder. He just fell on one and on a pass in a short state, just fell on his shoulder and banged it up. And I mean, we think in a little bit of time he'll be back. I don't know exactly, but it shouldn't be long time.
Thanks.
To the right, back behind the lights, Justin.
Hey, Coach, the back here, TV
Go ahead.
Pro. The Florida game was on last night on ESPNU. I was watching it. That drive, and you're down 28-17, backed up in your own end, and you just ran the ball all the way down the field.
Mm-hmm.
Long story short, I guess the question is, that kind of seemed like that was your identity for the rest of the year. When do you know in fall camp what your identity of this team
Well, I don't
can
know
be?
if you ever. I mean, you got to get to games, how guys play when the lights are on, and can they handle those situations. That, you know, and it's funny in that game we had a plan to run the football, and they were scoring, and we had some things in the passing game were working, so we stayed hot with them, and some things they did. We changed our plan a little bit to. We thought we could go, and then but we wanted to get back and run the football and settle things down. And then we started having success with it, and it went really well. But you know, we're going to have balance. We're going to try to throw it. We're going to run it. We're going to be all the things necessary. And you got to give guys an opportunity to find out who you are. And then you got to hope those things that you saw in camp can carry over when those lights on the scoreboard come on and they put people in the stands. I mean, so you know, I think that's an ever changing thing or an ever as a learning curve about your team that you always have to have, and you got to be willing to adjust. And I think that's one of the things about our system, though, that allows those things to happen. I think because we have such a volume of things we do, and we can be very multiple personnels and things we have, and I do that for a couple of reasons. One, I think it's harder to defend, and two, if you have injuries and things that happen, and if guys don't pan out like you think, you're not stuck in something you can't get out of. So we'll find out as we go. I think we're evolving into that now, but right now it's still not time yet because we're still evolving and evaluating players. You know what I mean? Getting these young guys in situations through this second scrimmage and trying to see where we're at, and then hopefully after that we'll evolve into it.
To the far left, Cole, and then OB, and then Zach.
Hey, Coach.
There you go.
You were talking about young players earlier, and Moose Muhammad is one that could be a really big name. You know, coming from that NFL background with his dad, what does he bring? And especially now that you're kind of seeing him on special teams as well, what has he shown with a full offseason now?
He had some really good days here lately. I mean, catches the ball, really good ball skills, can stick his foot in the ground, can accelerate, strong, makes a lot of very strong body, makes contested catches well, which in today's time is a big thing because everybody can run. He has a chance to be a really good player for us, and he had some nicks and knacks last year at times. And just every time he get in the groove, it set him back a little bit and things. So hopefully he can, stay healthy this year and go because he can help us and he can be a real good player whether it's in the slot or outside. I think he can play outside too. I think he has a very good array of talent to be able to do both.
On the right, OB, and then to the left, Zach.
Yeah, a couple of things, Jimbo. First of all, I was wondering, just personally, is there a timeline that you're comfortable with that you typically want to know who your starting quarterback is?
We'll wait. We'll get through the second scrimmage and evaluate and see where the guys are. But also, not just a scrimmage. To me, every rep I grade. I'm grading every rep in practice. And we're not tackling each other, but we're doing red zone. We're doing goal line. We're doing 7-on-7. We're doing first down. We're doing third down. we're doing third and short, we're going third and medium, we're going third and long. I mean, those things are getting evaluated daily. So we'll get through this one and we'll have to make one, but there's not a certain timeline, but hopefully we'll know here in the next week or so.
And then from the other side, have y'all gotten closer to finding out who's going to be Buddy Johnson's successor?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think Aaron Hansford becoming the leader in there without a doubt. Aaron getting back and playing, and then I think we have an array of guys. I mean, Andre White, you have Cooper. I mean, T. Lee is Terry Lee's doing a good job. Doyle has ability in there. I'm trying to think, who am I missing? Anybody I'm missing? Been a really good group, and those guys have all flashed and when I say that, can we put different combinations of them in at a time and playing? And now that they're in there playing, so those guys have all flashed and done some good things. So it's been well. Chris Russell, I'm sorry. I mean, that was all. I apologize for that. Not that I forgot. I mean, Chris has been playing some really good, but we've been moving to Mike and Will. You got me thinking on each side of that. Chris has had his time. Chris is athletic as heck, so I think you'll see different combinations. I think we'll feel comfortable putting different guys in the game.
Down front to the left, Zach.
Jimbo, kind of piggybacking on who is going to fill those shoes at the center position. I know you've spoken about it a little bit this fall, but how is that rounding out, and where do you see that?
I've been really pleased with that. I know I think our young guys. I mean, of course, you have Luke right there who's doing things. He's been we've lived how he does practice and things, and moving him around. But I think Bryce Foster's been an outstanding, and Wyckoff has done a really good. Both I know they're freshmen. The Wyckoff did in the spring, and Foster's come in and been natural. Those guys have done a great job making calls, and our defense is as multiple as anybody. Twists, stunts, things, and up front we're as physical as anybody. And those guys have held their own and blocked them. We've had our days on offense and played really well. I think those guys have all done a really good job. Smart has also worked at center in there. Remington, I mean, has done a great job in that group. I mean, so there's a whole group of those guys, and we're giving all guys. I'm a huge guy. I had something I had to say. You learn from your past. One time in camp, I went through 6 centers. We went through 6 centers in camp, and the guy who snapped ended up being. He finally got his first rep on the Wednesday before we played on the Saturday. That was the first time he got a rep one year. That team also played in the SEC championship. Believe it or not. So I mean, it can happen. But so I've learned that you don't have enough centers. We repped a lot of guys at center and played them and forced them in there, but I've done a really nice job with knowledge of what's going on. So I think all those guys have a chance to be really good players in there for us.
Right side, Brent, and then to the left, Cease. Got time for a
You
couple
got some
more?
good news with the return of McKinley Jackson. Wanted to ask you
Yes.
about that and how much he can help what's already a really good defensive line.
Oh yeah, I mean Kinley's an outstanding guy, and he's practicing with us and great. I mean, does a good job, plays hard, and playing really well.
Was
So
there
it's great.
something prompted his return?
Well, I mean, that was the status of the school, the things that are going on, the situation, and we can't talk about it or say anything about it, but at the same time, those are all things that aren't checked off by us, they're checked off by the school and the other people.
To the back left, Cease.
Talking about formations and personnel, how do you see your fullback evolving with this team?
Well, I mean, we have different guys. We can move tight ends in there. We have Jacob Grant who does a good job coming in blocking. Even as a long snapper, he does a good job on blocking situations and can catch it out of the backfield. We move tight ends. We multiple tight ends. You can put tight ends back there, or you can put other running backs. I mean, you got Crown over in there. You got Hubbard. We move Spiller up there. We put Anias up there. Anias is a heck of a blocker in there, man. When you're doing things, you're not just. But even Jiso right down the middle. He has a knack for doing those things. So our 2-back situation, we have multiple guys in that group that can get in there.
John, you want to wrap us up in the back?
Coach, did I hear correctly, Sunday is your second scrimmage?
Yes.
What exactly do you want to see from this team? What do you like to get
No,
out
I
of
just want to
the
see.
second
I want to see the knowledge of what we're doing, the execution of our offense, understand situations, take care of the ball on offense. Be efficient with it, make good decisions with it, put hats on hat, not have missed assignments, not have stupid penalties, not have the self-inflicted wounds that can set you back. And defensively, you don't want to give up big plays. You want to tackle well. You got to play the run. You got to be physical. You got to set edges, not give up the perimeters of your defense, and play like you know what's going on. I mean, what the scheme is, what the system is, and not have multiple missed assignments or busted coverages or fronts up things that allow those plays. And I think they improve the knowledge of how to play and play with consistency. And hopefully, and then interact, take signals, how you interact when the coaches aren't out there on the field with you. You know what I mean? Communication processes. That's the big thing when you get to young guys that you got to make sure. Now, the first one for that part, I was very happy with. I was very excited through our first scrimmage about how we did that. A little bit. I've had sometimes situations we didn't have hardly any miscommunications or anything, which was very encouraging.
All right, Coach, thanks for your time.
Thank you.